1 week ago, my relationship has ended. A 1.5 year relationship that I thought is very serious and a complicated relationship that is very difficult to characterize by good or bad. It was very complex. It was very loving. And when I was in it, I didn't have doubts that we were meant to be together. We were a beautiful couple. We laughed a lot. We did tons of beautiful things together. We supported each other. We shared secrets. We took responsibility. We made beautiful surprises to each other. I received flowers often. We went on beautiful trips together. I knew his family. We had 2 kittens. And at the same time, it was a toxic relationship. It was a relationship where there was a lot of aggression. There was a lot of verbal offense thrown around. It was a relationship where emotions weren't controlled. And it was a relationship that finally ended in a way that I find very hard, where the breakup just happened without us even talking about it, and where I suddenly realized that all the things were always one step from fading away forever. I don't want to go into my emotions too much because this is all still raw and unprocessed, but I thought I would share lessons that I learned in this relationship that would hopefully prevent me from doing the same mistakes again in the future. There was a bunch of red flags that I was ignoring. And I didn't even ignore them, I acknowledged them, but I always thought it is worth to continue while it wasn't worth to continue. And because of my softness and my struggle in stopping what is not good for me, I went too deep into something that was in fact not good for me, not healthy, not okay. So I'd like to share these with you today. The first, and for me the most important and glaringly red flaggish feature and thing that I would be avoiding as much as possible in the future is the inability of a person to handle uncomfortable conversations. In a couple, you should be able to address difficult topics with your partner. Sooner or later, the beautiful romantic time in your life can finish, and you need to talk about things that aren't easy to talk about. These range from simple things like who's going to be doing the dishes or why the other person is not cleaning the house as efficiently as you would expect them to way more serious topics, to topics like I don't feel supported or I don't feel seen. There are many things that in a couple we will have to discuss. If the other person doesn't have the emotional maturity to handle these conversations and stay with you in those conversations, understanding that there is a benefit for both of you in the future from those conversations, that you are trying to rather like solve things instead of just blame them. And when you find yourself talking to them calmly and keeping your composure and finding proper words and selecting the best ways to present the information to them in order to resolve stuff for you in the future, and this is met with aggression, this is met with irritation, this is met with blame, this is met with an immediate reaction, like, for example, you tell them. One of the examples here is that when you come to a person and you express your need in a relationship, for example, hey, I notice we are doing this. When we are doing this, I feel uncomfortable. Could we please think about how to do it in the future in a way that would be better in this case, because this is how I feel, and please can you help me here? And if this is provoking irritation, anger, strong emotions, strong expressions, and if this makes you in the end feel guilty or scared or feel like it wasn't worth bringing up at all and I should have been silent, it would have been better if I've been silent. This is the biggest thing, the most dangerous thing I think I faced in this relationship. Talking about needs shouldn't provoke aggression. Talking about needs is something that couples do. Another variant of this is when you say, this hurts me, can you please not say that in the future? Or can you not joke like that in the future? And you're immediately labeled as too sensitive. as taking yourself too seriously. And you literally try to explain to the person that, hey, I understand that might not look hurtful for you because you didn't have the same experiences as me in the past, but when you say this phrase or when you frame it like that, could you please not do it in the future? I understand you didn't know and you did it, right? Could you please not do this in the future? It really hurts me. And he gets offended. Your partner gets offended. That's a red flag. That's not even a red flag. That's a stop signal. That's an alarm that screams, run as fast as you can. Because this is the basics of relationships between people. None of my friends, when I tell them that something is hurting me, would continue the same behavior or have the desire to bring me down because of that, or mock me because of that, or call me too spoiled because of that, or call me too demanding. That is just not normal. And for me, this is calling it quits immediately from now. I'll not tolerate this. I'll not spend myself explaining this anymore. I'll not. Which brings me to my second point, which I called babysitting emotional immaturity. When they talk about parenting, and I don't know a lot about parenting, but one thing I know about parenting is that they talk about containing the emotional reactions of your kid as a parent. So the kid doesn't know the range of their emotion. They don't really know how to find themselves in those emotions. So this is why kids sometimes just scream and have those very intense tantrums. And the job of a parent is to contain that and basically teach the kid to live through that experience and teach them how to label those emotions, what to do with them. The key here, the way the parent is containing this is not becoming as emotionally scattered as the kid. The parent contains it by staying calm, by understanding why the kid acts that way and teaching the kid about those emotions. Well, the most important thing is you shouldn't be doing this in the couple. You shouldn't be doing this with your partner. You are not the person to contain their emotions. If their emotions need containment, often, I don't talk about some edge cases when like really serious things happen, but you shouldn't be teaching your partner about these things in a calm way when they are acting very harsh towards you, very emotional, blaming you, being angry, shutting doors. And this was my big mistake because I know how much therapy has helped me managing my own emotions. And I thought, okay, this person is just not yet having the skills. Maybe I can help them navigate this relationship. It's so stupid and it doesn't work because from that perspective, the person would just see you as somebody that not only handles themselves better and they cannot handle their emotions, they will also see you as an enemy because you are trying to help them and it's something condescending kind of. I really don't know how to navigate this thing, but this problem should not be taken to what I'm describing. At the moment you see that the person is emotionally immature, the thing that I would like to do in the future is to just move on. Emotional maturity takes time to develop. It takes sometimes years to develop. Sometimes it doesn't develop in people at all. It takes a lot of work. It takes therapy. It takes self-awareness. You cannot teach that skill. You cannot share that skill. You cannot act like a partner and a therapist at the same time. For me, emotional immaturity and not being able to handle emotions will forever now be a red flag, and I don't want to deal with these people. I will deal with this when I will have a kid, and my kid will need to be taught about emotions. I'll not be doing this with my partner. The third thing that is very similar here is tolerating mood swings. I'll be extremely careful now to not connect myself with people who have mood swings, who are a certain way one part of the day and then without any clear reason or explaining or talking about it, they switch to being another person. I no longer want to second guess if I'm the reason that they feel bad or if this is something in their day that happened that they feel bad about. To me, if you have a mood swing, if your mood changes, If you're able to talk about it, if you're able to normally explain what happened so that your partner doesn't feel weird, that's fine. I would do that to anybody. Like anytime I feel irritated or sad about something, I would just say, oh, it's not about you. I just got disappointed from my job, or this is about you, but I'll feel a bit bad, and let's then go to coffee or grab something. And communication. This is why they say about communication that your job as a partner is not to guess what is in another person's head. When one partner is completely closed off and doesn't share their thought process with you, and maybe they have their own valid reasons for that. Maybe they are not in touch with their thinking, emotions, and they have a hard time formulating all of that for you. But that's not your problem. It's incredibly hard to commit to people that act weird. And then only because you understand why they do that doesn't mean you have to be with them at all. Next lesson is, I think I will not be attempting couples therapy with a partner unless I know that things are extremely serious with them, unless maybe we are already married or having children. But if I will be seeing that in the initial stages of a relationship, and I saw that 6 or 7 months into the relationship, we cannot find a common ground and things are not working and stuff is heavy, I think I will not suggest couples therapy, because although I find it extremely helpful, I think I would like to see more commitment from a person first. Because at the same time as couples therapy is extremely helpful, I also find it to be extremely draining and hard. And it's a very difficult endeavor to do. I have been downplaying it while I was doing that, but every session, since it was so effective, it also dug up such hurtful emotions and such sensitive sides of both me and him that I understand right now that this investment is just not worth it. I am not against therapy. I think it's amazing for couples that have been together for a longer time and that actually have passed this stage of maybe 3 years together or 5 years together. I don't know how I would clearly define this, but when you see 1 year into the relationship that stuff is not working out in very big chunks and very principal things that will take years to work through, I will no longer do this commitment. I'm sorry, because I've spent a lot of my resource and a lot of my power and a lot of my energy to do that. I've spent a lot of money also to do that. And in the end, it was just abandoned. It was just completely quit without any notice. And the person just decided to shut down the door to all of that. So I will not do this. I will not engage in this. What I will do though, and what I did very right in this relationship, is I will continue maintaining my financial independence and I'll continue to maintain my legal independence from the person, because right now I feel so incredibly blessed and grateful that I have kept my rented apartment, that I have kept my salary, that I have, since I'm an immigrant, I haven't relied on couples things or marriage for getting my residence permit. I was only relying on myself and I was only relying on my work. And as much as I would love that the person would offer these things in the future, I would not be planning and relying on them. And I don't even know if I'm putting any deadline on it. I always want to have at least a minimal income for myself, because the situation that I'm in right now has proven to me completely that I could have had to go home in case I would let go of the things that were important to me and just rely on his help. So, extremely important, not letting these things go. I will not meet the parents of my future boyfriend sooner than 6 or 8 months into the relationship. In my recently ended relationship, I met his parents by his initiative on the second or third month of the relationship, very early. And as much as that seemed like a reliable and green flag that they are willing to introduce me to their family, I understand that right now I'm not willing to get bonded with their family before I know that I'm bonded with them properly. Because what happened again in this relationship is that I established trustful relationships with the parents. I got used to visiting them, to being in their home, to being welcome, to being encouraged and loved, and having all of those dreams and future plans projected on me, both by my boyfriend and his parents. And then all of a sudden, all of this was taken away one day without any clear reasons, just mentioning that I'm not suitable enough. And I didn't have even a chance to talk with them, and they didn't talk to me, which is from one side understandable because their kid will always be their kid and they will love and communicate with him in case anything will happen. But at the same time, not even saying anything after this breakup, not contacting me, not like completely ignoring the situation and disappearing from my life without a clear reason, just because their son decided that, has been really painful and shocking. Another thing that I will not tolerate in my future relationships is any suspicion that the partner is envious or jealous of me. I don't mean jealousy like towards other people. I mean, if you do something well, you don't receive a reaction of encouragement and happiness and celebration, but you receive a reaction of weird coldness and inexplicable, maybe a little bit nasty jokes. I want the person that I will spend my future with to be genuinely happy about what I'm doing. I don't want the person to be half smiling and having second thoughts. And this is weird because when I was doing the things that he had no idea about, like doing my career, which is not related to his career at all, or doing my small business that has nothing to do with what he's doing, it was all okay. But I went to social media and posted a few stories after a 4-year Instagram detox. I haven't been on Instagram for 4 years. The first few stories and posts have provoked such a weird reaction and judgment, although they were completely innocent and I was sharing some amazing things from the trip that we were both in. But I saw something very strange, something very similar to jealousy or envy. And this was the area he is professionally involved in, which is funny because when you have a profession in it and your girlfriend is just posting 5 nice stories and you start being like, this is so weird. It's like you're stepping on his territory. What? Next thing, I have 3 more things to say today, and this video is clearly getting longer than I planned. I will not move forward if I'm not excited for the future. If I don't have a feeling that I wanna experience the future with this person, I'm excited about what's gonna happen. I'm excited about the future trips, the family, adopting pets, having kids. I don't know. If I don't feel excitement towards going deeper and more serious with that person, I will not do it. And here, I clearly know that I didn't feel excited. In fact, 2 months ago, I started antidepressants and I wasn't excited about our future. I was pretending to be with all of the friends, but inside of myself, I was scared because I knew there is a lot of difficult things that I knew will be not good in the future. But somehow I didn't have mental energy to call it quits. And to be really honest with you, I was in love and I didn't see myself doing it on my own. Although I felt uncomfortable, although I felt really disappointed at times, although I felt like I have to walk on eggshells, and although I wasn't excited for the future but rather scared, I was always thinking like, it's gonna be good in the future. I'm gonna go through this. It's gonna be fine. Like, I was just bracing myself and bringing myself to do the following difficult things, because a relationship shouldn't be super easy, right? You should do things. You should not be afraid of challenges. Oh my God. Another thing is, if there is any suspicion that a person is looking at you as an attribute to their life and not as a real living person, this is not good. If there is any suspicion that they are looking at you as an object to fit into the beautiful picture of their future spouse without like even asking you if you want to do this, without considering your feelings and being just judgmental and evaluating you, like, I see this in you and I think I will have to tolerate that, or I see this in you and this is really too much for me. This, like, no ask about why you're doing that, no talk about how they could help you process this, or let's talk about it, this really bothers me, but I just decided it's going to be difficult in the future if you do that, and well, I guess I will have to accept this. What? And we talked about it in therapy, but whatever. This is very bad rhetoric in this or any other form. If it appears, is terrible. And this is how it ended in the end. I was not fitting his picture of the future, although for 1.5 years I was. The last point, the final point, and I hope my camera will not discharge before I finish recording this, is I will break up ruthlessly in case I don't see peace, comfort, support, stability, and I don't see actions that are supporting the words. If all of these things are not present, I will be ruthlessly breaking up with a person. If any of these things isn't present, I will no longer feel bad for thoughts about breaking up. I will be more assertive and I will be more decisive to just walk away. No amount of sorrow for a broken relationship is as painful as years lived in misery, as time wasted on a toxic person, as the mental load that you have to carry every single day that you're with such a person. It's not worth it, guys. The world is so big. There is so many beautiful people, and there is so many people that are able to offer you support and help and warmth. Don't waste yourself on relationships that don't work out. Don't stay if you don't feel safe, if you don't feel understood, cared for, supported, or if their actions are not the same as their words. It's not worth it. Thank you for watching this video. I didn't know that the first video on my channel will be like this, but I wanted to share this, and it clearly will help me process what has happened. Stay safe, and I wish you good relationships and understanding partners and a lot of love.